Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
In order for you to build a company that lasts, a company that's able to withstand the competition and all the environment and the economic challenges here, you've got to have people that'll go to hell and back with you and for you. When you begin to connect with them one-on-one, it's not like you control them, you just connect with their heart and they're ready to go to hell and back with you and for you on that. And that's what's needed a lot of times to get this. And there is so much complaining about people's disengaged employees, and we're not taking time to connect with them.
Forbes magazine, we have a stat that is unbelievable. I read it just this morning, actually. 70% of the people in one of their surveys said they're not engaged in their job. 7 out of 10 don't like their job.
This is
bad people or bad leadership? I'm going to say bad leadership.
Yeah.
Because I've seen leaders who've taken people without moms, without dads, who grew up in abused situations, who've grown up amongst a bunch of, they've taken like the kind of like the leftover employees and made great things happen.
Right.
An example of that would be the Seattle Seahawks, 2014 champions there?
Yeah.
I read an article that like a third
annihilation. It wasn't even hardly a game.
And I read like a third of their players, I don't know the actual number, but like a third of their players were basically outcasts from other teams or weren't drafted. Unbelievable. And again, it's you don't need the most talented people to win, you need great leadership to win.
Right. Pete Carroll, the coach there, is really more than a coach. He's a developer of leaders. And that whole process is just so essential to be able to connect with the people that you're with here.
Maxim 17 from our home office here off the coast of Des Moines. Motivation becomes easy when others know you have their best interests at heart.
Right, and it's really related to the previous maxim here. You know, when we built TASK, this Tax and Accounting Software Corporation, I made it my heart here to say, listen, when you come on board with us, we're going to pour into you life and soul. We're going to make you a better employee, but we care about you as a person. I remember it was to a point of tears. I remember after going through a leadership training session, somebody that was a veteran person, a really good employee, came and says, listen, Tim, I've gone through your leadership training 5 times sitting through those 16 sessions. Says, I want you to know something, that is not just making me a better employee. I'll let you know here that I was on the verge of divorce, and we used one of your concepts that you talked about, and I began to apply it to my marriage. And by this time she's crying and I'm crying. So, applying this stuff saved my marriage. Well, how loyal do you think that person was? How much do you think that person showed up with all their heart to help get their job done?
I think so much we take work over here and relationships over here. And I can tell you the best business owners I've ever been around, the best leaders, they have found a way where it's like family and work merge almost. And so they treat their employees like family. And they start to say, we're going to do this. As a team, we did that. And that's a big challenge because when you work really hard as an owner, don't get me wrong, anybody watching this, if you're an owner, I know you're part of that 5 a.m. club. I know you're working 70 hours a week. I know you're stressed out. And it's if you're not careful, you want to say, I did this, I did that. Right. But you really want to build that we culture. And I think that happens, like you said here, when others know you have their best interests at heart, people get motivated. Now, point 18 here, we're kind of getting off of business almost. We're kind of getting off of business, moving into some family.
I don't think
getting personal. It's like Ricky Lake here. Okay, so Ricky Lake is still going, and it's big in Ecuador right now. in Costa Rica.
I was just in Ecuador.
Really?
Really? I didn't.
Well, you probably weren't paying attention on that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, now Maxim number 18 in honor of Peyton Manning, right? Isn't that the number he wears?
I like that.
Yeah, nice. Now here's the deal. Parent-child communication leads to resentment, resistance, and revenge. What are you talking about in the context of work? Why are we talking about parent-child communications?
Well, it's not really the start of family dynamics. It's the key to growing a business. And your success, Mr. Entrepreneur, Miss Entrepreneur, your success is going to come by the degree you're able to engage the hearts and minds of the people that work with you. And so there's a certain kind of communication that engages the heart, engages the mind, and there's that disengages. The type of communication style that engages is adult to adult, where one adult will speak respectfully to the other adult, even if they're like the big bad boss and they're the new kid on the totem pole, okay, brand new kid on the block. All right, there's still a respect going back and forth. It's all done above board, adult to adult, and it's built on respect. It's built on engaging your heart. I
have a funny story for you about a business that's no longer around, but I'll call it something. I'll call it the Horseman. It rhymes with the Horseman, but it's out of business now. It was my first job, and I remember the boss. He used to run around and he would drink vodka during the day. You know, he's sipping on vodka during the day. And he would always say statements like you were mentally retarded or like you couldn't grasp what he was saying. So he would say stuff like, "Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you get what I'm saying to you?" And then he would just, and he just was that way, talk down to people, always a little bit drunk,
There's that parent-child going on.
And people would steal stuff from him all the time. And so he used to come into work and he would say, "Do you guys know who egged my car?" And we're all like, "We don't know who that person is." Or, "Do you guys know who," and people were always messing with him because he was like so demonstrative. He talked down to people and he was such
very
a bad,
condescending.
And so people wanted to fire back in a way they could. But there was never a week that went by without someone messing with him. And it's interesting, I see that, maybe not that extreme.
Right.
But I see it in businesses all the time where you have an owner who's like, "Hey, can you get that phone for me? Can you make that call for me? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?" And they talk down to their staff.
"Hey, come here. Hey, listen to me when I'm done." So that's the parent-child. So that's the disengaging thing. What happened, and so what happens here is what the 3 hours is a good friend of mine. He's in a better place now. As Brian Clemmer taught me this called the 3 hours, where when you create that parent-child relationship, it creates that resentment or that negative feeling like, you louse. And it creates a resistance. Instead of being open to work with you, I want to create a resistance. I want to destroy what you're doing. So I'm going to figure out a way to get revenge to you, against you, by not showing up, by acting like I'm working but really not, by disengaging customers instead of getting them involved in it. There's all kinds of revenge that happens.
Now, you said Brian Clemmers. How do you spell that?
Klemmer.
And who's he? Who's Brian?
Brian had a leadership training organization.
Okay.
So
I just want to make sure we give the guy credit because one thing that's interesting about Tim, and I know if you're watching this, sometimes it might be a little bit tough, but I had no idea who like Brian Tracy was. Maybe you don't know who he is. I didn't know who John Maxwell was. I didn't know. I kind of like sometimes thought at a third grade level. And so what we want to do is make sure we break it down for you and keep it really, really simple. And so if someone wants to find Brian, does he have a book or something that he wrote or anything they can research more on?
Yeah, he's got.
You go on Amazon, just Google it.
If how-tos were enough, we'd all be skinny, rich, and happy. That's where that concept was found in there. And it's a book that I helped to edit, and
cool.
just a lot of. Brian's just an amazing guy, and I can't wait to see him again.
Tim bounces around with a lot of these top leadership guys, and we just want to make sure those tools are available for you. Now, on to point 19, Maxim 19. When was the last time you asked your subordinates to evaluate you? What are you talking about?
Okay, so what we want is we want people to be creative. We want them to put their whole heart into it. The stats you gave, you have this book you just wrote on management. It's just out of this world. I burned through it. I started at 4:30, finished it at 5:30.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just wrote all over it, and just enjoyed it, but just had all these. But what's the subtitle on this book?
Will Not Work for Food, and it's basically a concept of how America became dumb, dishonest, and distracted.
Yeah, dumb, dishonest, and distracted. And so, what happens here is subordinates are distracted. They're not. I don't know that they're dumb necessarily, but they're not showing up with smart. And what I used to do is I'd go around, ask the managers. I'd even ask the brand new staff people, and I would say, "What stupid thing are we doing around here that we need to change?" And they'd look at me like, "You're the executive vice president. Didn't you help get this business grown from ground zero?" Yeah. What stupid thing are we doing that we need to stop? That we need to change? What am I doing? How can I better serve you? And so what it does is it opens them up to allow them to start solving problems. Well, they're going to start bossing me around. Don't be insecure. Rich, successful entrepreneurs learn to overcome their insecurities, and they're asking people, give me the feedback. Well, what happens if they're going to just rail all over me and all the wrongness going on there? You'll always learn if you have that idea. Get feedback from people, and they're going to tell you, hey, listen, Mr. Emperor, you may not be wearing clothes right now, and I'm going to tell you the truth. So we want to make sure we get honest feedback so we can direct our companies in a very powerful way.
Now, it's Maxim 20. It says, get input, think thoroughly, yet be firm with tough decisions. It seems a little bit contradictory, maybe, or what do you mean by that?
All right, so I think about President Bush, the second Bush.
George Bush.
And he would say, listen, I get input from everybody, and I have them all debate about this and all this. But the one thing, I remember him debating, who was it, Al Gore.
Alvin.
Yeah, my not so good friend Al Gore. And I remember him saying, the thing that I do really well here is I will get a lot of input, and then I'll make the decision. I'm a decision maker. And so you get input, you think thoroughly about all the input. Sometimes it's contradictory, but then once you make a decision, be firm in that decision, because your leadership in that decision, if you're weak in that decision, that's going to directly affect the level of commitment people have to implement or fulfill that decision. And so you want to make sure you're firm in your decision and you involve people. You're not running a democracy. When you run a company, you're not running a democracy.
What'd you say?
You're not running a democracy when you're running a company.
I see that a lot.
You've got to be the guy in charge. You want to get input from people, and you say, listen, here's the decision we're making. One of the leadership concepts we talk about is, listen, you have to learn to support a decision even if it's against the decision you wanted. Make sure you make sure you see it through, you support it, instead of contradicting it. So when you're firm in your decisions here, it's going to be contagious to help people get committed to that decision to fulfill it.
I've noticed this. It's tough because when you start a business, I see like we have one lady I'm working with, and I worked with years back, and one thing that she did was she would never make a decision. So she would get information, gather information, and she'd go, well, I think I want to do this. And then one employee would say, I don't agree. And she's like, okay, well, I'll table it. Let me come back to it, and just never would make a decision. Then you see the other extreme who says, that's how I was more so. I'm like, well, we're just going to do it. We're making that decision. We are done. And they're like, but no one's even shared our viewpoint. It doesn't matter. We're doing it. And then so there's a balance there.
Right.
You have to make a decision, but the thing is get all the facts, right, and then make that decision. And just a quick disclaimer, I know that Al Gore is in your top 10 list of people, and I will say that the parental advisory sticker that Tipper helped come up with, his beautiful wife,
yes,
that's on the sticker that says parental advisory, that has stopped every child in America from listening to dirty music. So I think we need to just move on with that.
Very good.
Okay, good. So on to point 21. Yeah. So the most dominating state dominates. Is that, we talking about Texas?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Okay, so we're talking about our emotional state. And what is our emotional state? When we talk about emotional state, it's how we feel about ourselves and the world around us, or what we think is true about ourselves and the world around us. And so there was a number of studies that were done where they would have people come into a room in the doctor's office, says, wait out here, no communication. We want to make sure you don't communicate with other people. And so they brought us this really depressed person in the room. And really his emotional state was really depressed. They brought 3 other people into the room that had a neutral state. 15 minutes, no communication. What happened to the depressed person? He was still depressed. What happened to the people in the neutral state? They found that they started feeling down and life and their problems seemed bigger and they started slipping down that slippery slope of depression there, even though there's no communication going on.
I call this the political discussion. I know we talked about Al Gore, but let's look at it. Let's look at this bipartisan. Let's go bipartisan for just a second. I know people that are
bipartisan, not bipolar.
Yeah.
Bipartisan. Okay.
I know people that are irate about Republican policies, irate about Democrat policies.
Yeah, we're not.
And no matter what room you're in, they can irritate everyone with new information. Did you hear about what the Republicans just did? Did you hear about what the Democrats just did? And they will upset. They'll get everyone worked up into the state of like, we got to go to the White House, but we're not going to go to the White House. We're not going to fix anything, and so we just kind of get it worked up. And I've seen it work in a lot of different emotional states. I've seen people go into a room and make everyone sad.
Okay, so here's where it really comes in. You know, in a number of these studies here, they really concluded to say the person with the strongest or the most dominant state, they're the ones that shift the environment their way. This is very important with you as an entrepreneur because you're going to have some blue Mondays. You're going to have some down Tuesdays. You're going to have some things that life seems to be playing the opposite. Everything you do, it seems like it just the opposite result. And you can have your whole team down in the dumps. Your whole team may be one other person. And they come in with a bad mood and they're down and they're depressed. And you're either the leader or the follower. And so with your state, you can literally shift. I mean, how many times have you walked into a room and everybody seems to be down and depressed, but you come in there and you're ready to take on the world, and just within no time, people that were quiet and to themselves, they're now talking, there's laughter going on. Your state shifted the room. This is very important for you and your business to keep people in a very positive, powerful state, because that's where they can create and solve problems.
I used to, all the time with the new business, I remember Garrett worked for me, and I used to just get mad about every 4th day. Because, you know, a customer wouldn't pay their bill. Or I would, you know, something bad would happen, or a competition would say something about me, you know, whatever the business problem was at the time. And he'd be like, Clay, how you doing, man? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't even respond. Just,
yeah.
He's like, what's going on? I'm like, we have got a competitor that said this horrible thing about us to a bride or to a potential customer. I can't believe that. Why would they do that? And I would just be so mad. I would stay mad for like till noon. And I would just look over and I notice he's all quiet. And then he wouldn't talk much all day. And the next day he'd come in. He's like, hey man, is that going to get worked out? Are we going to be okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm so concerned, you know, man. Are we going to be all right? And he like thought that our company was going to go under because of this bad situation. And I didn't realize I was affecting his state.
Right,
and I just think what you're saying is powerful. And I think we all need to do a gut check after watching this and ask ourselves, are we projecting, and are we being the most dominant state? Are we being the most dominant and positive state?
Yeah, either you're leading or following. It's either working for you to build your business or it's working against you to destroy your business. So that's where you really, that going inward before you go outward comes back to that point where your leadership is going to cause your business to rise.
All right, so we're on to Maxim 22 with Tim Redmond. Tim, $1 million ideas are locked up in those around you. It's up to you to unlock it in them. What are you talking about?
Okay, so a lot of times we get busy growing our business as the entrepreneur. We're the smart one. We're the ones that have done all the research.
Yeah.
We're the ones that have just slaved. We're doing 60, 70 hours a week.
Awesome.
We know what's going on, and these little peons, we call employees, they don't know anything. They're objects. They're people that they don't know anything that's going on. And so many times we talk to them not realizing that they do have these amazing ideas. When you look at the TQM, Total Quality Management companies and some of the case studies that were done, and huge cost savings, huge revenue jumps here have come out of these line employees that don't know any better. It was a manager or a system or a boss that says, listen, you got $1 million ideas on the inside, let me tap it out.
I have to show you something real quick, because this is something that gets me pumped. And I'm kind of weird in that, like, little toy airplanes pump me up here. But Southwest Airlines, my Uncle John Toon works with those guys.
Yeah.
And I read this book, Nuts, years ago. And apparently I think it's the stewardess, one of the stewardesses, you have to read this book, check it out. It's been a while since I've read it. But I think it's one of the stewardess who flew for Southwest Airlines. She was like, I have some ways to make the airline more efficient. So it was her idea to quit printing the logo on the trash bags that they put within every trash can on the airplane. Well, that printing alone saved the company millions. You can imagine thousands and thousands of flights. Then at the end of the wings here, you have this thing called a winglet.
Right.
Makes the airplane more efficient. And apparently, again, a Southwest employee came up with this idea, adapted it from the military, millions of dollars of savings. And these things would have not have happened if it wasn't for the input of everyone. Unlocking.
I mean, I've had that happen where I've sat in on a planning meeting with newly minted college grads. I like to hire them, fresh out of college or young in their early 20s. We built our company on these guys. They didn't know any better, but I opened up to get just anything goes. I drew out of that one meeting a few ideas that when we implement them, they're in our Tax and Accounting Software Corporation, the software company, we generated, and we were fairly small at the time, but we generated an additional $500,000 that went from top line directly down to the bottom line because we didn't add in any new process, we didn't add in any more employees, there wasn't any more hassle, but there was a repackaging of what we had, true innovations, repackaging. And that came from line employees.
It didn't come from you. You just mined it out of the gold out of their heads.
And it was worth $500,000.
Now, Maxim 23, Tim Redmond's Maxim 23. Direct by expectations, not by limitations.
Yeah, a lot of times people are so afraid of what not to do. We say when we give people tasks to do, we give them goals to do. We're more telling them watch out for this and don't do this. We have all these lists of don'ts here, and what we want to do is we when we do that, when we lead by limitations instead of expectations, we shut down their thinking processes. We get them off focused here, and they're focused on what they can't do, and so they're not solving towards what they can do. The learning process is actually shut down on that.
I think a specific example is whenever we do train people to cold call. One of the things I say is I expect you to set 5 appointments a day or 10 appointments a day. That gives them the freedom to think of ways to do that. But if I come up with limitations and I say, don't pause, don't think, don't, they start to think about all the limitations, and it kind of grinds their mind to a halt. And I think that's huge. Now, the next point here, point number 24, one of my favorites here. I mean, I've read through all these, and this point 24 pumps me up every time here. I'm looking through it. It's really good. Biggest culprit to growth. Lack of follow-up and lack of follow-through. I see it all the time. Got a big idea. You got a big idea. I got a big idea. We all have a big idea. You have a big idea. Then we don't do anything with it. And the next week and the next week it kind of drifts and then it floats away. So talk to me about this.
It floats away. Now here's something. We have the big ideas, but we also have the little calls. And what destroys a company here is a client calls, and we need to follow up with them. We need to call them back. We have no tickler system, no reminder system to say, I've got to get a hold of this client in 3 days or 3 months or whenever it is.
Yeah.
And we have to understand the growth of our business, about 3% of the people that really want your product, they're going to come to you. But the 97% of the people, you have to pursue them. And it's through that follow-up and follow-through that closes the sale.
Now, for somebody who's freaking out about the stat, 97%, 3%, I just want to be real. the concept, I've seen it, whether you want to get into the 97%, or you want to say 95%. The point is, the vast majority, almost everybody who's going to do business with you, if you're a growing company, is not somebody who just came to you. It's someone that you pursued, you followed up, right? I mean, that's what you're...
Absolutely. So most companies, they say they're a sales organization, they've got a sales staff, but most companies are simply order takers because they do not have a powerful and an accountable follow-up and follow-through system. That is usually, when a company is faltering, usually one of the biggest and the most noticeable culprits is that lack of follow-up and follow-through. Well, I'm just too busy. I can't handle anymore. You've got to be able to do that follow-up and follow-through, and that's going to bring the sale in. That's going to cause the trust to be there. It's going to cause people to want to cooperate with you to move your business forward.
One of the worst crimes to commit against others is to underestimate them. And I have yet another visual aid. I'm bringing a lot of stuff from the shelf of...
Bring it on.
Bringing a lot of stuff here from the shelf of goodness here. Now, here we go. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Oh, here it is. Bringing it down here. Okay. Do you remember the 1987 Minnesota Twins? Do you remember that? These guys were the worst team in baseball, and they ended up winning the championship. This is the hat from that year here. It's seen better times. There's TC, Twin Cities. This is my rally cap. I keep this here. It's kind of my rally monkey. When things get rough, you get the rally monkey out.
Right.
I see it all the time, though. If you look at these people who are successful, if you look around the room here, we got Steve Martin here. He was a failed musician, a failed magician, a failed comedian, but he somehow put it together. John Rockefeller over here next to Steve Martin. His father basically abandoned the family. He dropped out of high school. If you look at Walt Disney, that guy went into bankruptcy twice.
Oh, yeah.
A high school dropout. I mean, we can go on and on and on of the people, but we underestimate people. This is like a crime against humanity. And I want to hear you share your viewpoint on this when you say one of the worst crimes to commit against others is to underestimate them.
Okay, so here's some case studies that have happened in a school situation. They had a group of students that the teacher was told that these students scored the highest, and so they're in a special class because they're the very brightest students. Other students, and this is not actually true, they said they're the lowest scoring clients. They're going to be in a lot lower level. You may have to take your time with them. And the teachers were told this about these students. And it was amazing the power of expectation here, that these students, most of which were just average, but they were looked at and they were not underestimated. They were the greatness was pulled out of them. They were demanded a lot. The teacher was more patient with them, bringing them along. Their learning just soared like there was no tomorrow. The teacher with these other kids, the supposedly dumb kids, they were just as bright as this other, but because they underestimated them, the kids literally began to perform at a much lower level.
If you guys get a chance to Google the Carver Academy in San Antonio, our partner on Thrive, David Robinson, I met this guy and I was at a high expectation, and I met him, and just like with yourself, I had a certain idea of what this person was, but when I met him, it went up. It went
even higher.
It went even higher. I had a high expectation, but it was even better than advertised. David has taken inner city kids in San Antonio that the world gave up on, kids that they can't afford school, they don't have money for tuition, and he took $11 million of his own money, built the world-class Carver Academy for these kids, and he's told them, God has called you to great success.
Wow.
He has a plan for you. And if you look that up, if you just do your research on this.
It is amazing, Clay.
How they've changed the lives of these people. And I've seen you do it with people. I've seen you coach a client and you speak into their life. You say, hey, I know your business is going to be successful. You have what it takes. You can do it. And I think right now, if you're watching this, I think one of the crimes that you might be doing, you might be saying it to other people, which is the worst thing you can do. But I also will say you might be saying it to yourself.
You might be saying
So
it to
what if
yourself.
I am saying it to myself right now? Tim, what do I do?
Well, the person you listen to the most is you. And psychologists have shown that we're talking to ourselves, and our the self-talk, this subconscious level of communication, about 1,500, 1,800 words a minute. All right, so we're talking to ourselves, and most of this internal communication is negative. We're making a case against ourselves. We're doing that underestimating, and we literally have faith in that lower level, and we begin to walk in that self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm just saying, as you look at your staff, as you look at, think about the people that influence you. Now, I want you to think about it. Maybe a coach, maybe a teacher, maybe your mom or dad, maybe an older brother or a sister. One of the heroes in your life. What did they do? Chances are the reason they touched your heart is because they saw your greatness. They didn't underestimate you. They said, wow, let me uncover the greatness that you already have. That makes you come alive. That's why that person became a hero. You know what? You're a hero to the people you work with. And you know, it's okay for you to be your own hero, for you to begin to not make a case against yourself, but make a case for yourself to begin to see what you can do if you begin to dream and take little steps towards that.
I could take days, I know you could take days just on that point, but I want to point out to you guys, just on this wall alone, with Walt Disney, the high school dropout, with Richard Branson, the dyslexic founder of Virgin Records, the Albert Einstein. Check this out. Look at this quote. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. We cannot underestimate people because they're not good at one thing. Just really important. We just want to take a little extra time to underscore that. Now, on point number 26 here, keep your employees number one, and they will keep your customers number one.
Right. Now, we have to think about this. How do people learn? People learn primarily by watching. I mean, think about it here. It says, if I gave you a 3-hour lecture on how calculus works, all right? Now, you may be a math major, and I've got like a couple of my sons that are really good in math, and they would understand that, and no problem. But for most of you, it says, listen, if I can show you how it works, you know, or many times when I'm talking about how to handle, how to manage conflict, I'll do a role play with a client. And I'll do the wrong thing, and they'll start laughing. I say, well, that's what you'll have a tendency to do. Let me begin to show you a pattern to follow where you can see the right way to handle it. And so what we're doing here is we're showing them a pattern of respect that you really believe in them. And you're going to project whatever you think about your employees. You're going to project that whether you like it or not, smile or no smile. If you think they're louses, if you think they're peons, you think they're this necessary evil, they're going to feel that from you whether you like it or not. You're going to project that. Conversely, if you believe they're the best, you believe that you've got champions working for you, that you are blessed by God to have these people to nurture them and grow, they're going to follow your pattern and begin to treat their customers the same way. Your business is going to grow.
Now, point number 27 says, when people like you, what they really like is how they feel about themselves when they are with you.
Yeah.
So, example would be,
okay, so let's say that you like me, Clay. Let's just pretend that you like me. All right? So what is it about me you like? It may be my good looks. It may be my Herculean body.
Yeah,
you know,
these are things that are on my list of what I like about you.
Yeah, and it may be my absolute brilliance. Like you talk about my good friend Al Einstein.
Yeah.
You know, he and I kind of flow together here kind of in a quantum way. All right, maybe all these things that you like about me, but really when you really like me, it almost sounds like a selfish thing here. You really like the way you feel about yourself when you're with me. I've seen this happen with your own employees. These camera people here. Now you're very direct. You've got accountability. I've seen 3 people come in and out of here in the last 3 months here because people didn't want to live up to it. But you got these people, and you are champion these cameramen. Isn't that right, camera people? Guys, people, women,
folk,
humans. You know, I've seen you do this here, where when you celebrate them, when they want to be around success, they want to be around, they feel good about themselves, and so they're going to give their heart to you to say, listen, I'm going to show up with all my heart. What do I need to do next?
Now, I think this is a huge point, though, because I feel like that it's important that we make people feel special. And I know you're saying that, people, that's basically, again, when people like you, what they really like is how they feel about themselves and they are with you. I think it's important, though, and Stacy Thorne, a lady who started this, she did very well in a multi-level business called Arbonne.
Yeah.
And she told me, when I see somebody for the first time, I imagine they have a sign on their forehead that says, "I am special."
Yeah.
And I can't challenge myself enough to do that more, because we no matter how intentional we are, I know I can do it better, and it's just so important that we do it. We got to do a better job. I got to do a better job.
Yeah, it's something to ask yourself. Ask yourself, how do people feel when they come into this realm about 6 feet around? They come into my orb. They come into my circle, my sphere.
The circle of trust.
Yeah, that's another topic. How do they feel about themselves when they're with me? Now think about on a support call with your cell phone company. The biggest challenge in my personal life here to maintain any level of civility, any level of respect towards other human beings is talking to my cell phone company about something that they're overcharging me for, whatever, and I've gone through 3 different languages and 4 different people. How do people feel about themselves? And I will tell you, it is a night and day difference when they feel good about themselves when they're with you, even in the middle of you challenging them.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of you correcting them, they're going to show up with all their heart, and that's what you need to move your business forward.
Now, point 28, know thy purpose and destiny. I want to hit on that real quick because I have explained this to people, and you'll probably do it more articulately than I would, but I always tell people, if you and I are going out in front of our building right here and we hitchhike, put the thumb up, we wait. Or in New York, you do this, you get in a cab.
Yeah.
So this week I was in New York, you put the fingers up. Cab driver says, "Hey, where can I take you, sir?" And you say, I don't know. Or, I just want to be successful. Take me to success. Where is success? I want to be successful. Take me to a successful place.
Where's he going to take you?
Yeah, it's just not a good situation. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, and I've done this before. I just want to be successful. And I'm asking you right now, where is it? Is it in Costa Rica? I don't know, but I want you to ask, where is success? Where is it? And so let's get into this for a second. Know thy purpose and thy destiny. Right now, I'm just a little bit obsessed with Costa Rica right now, but know thy purpose. We did. I'm working through it. I want to go to Costa Rica. Here I come. Know thy purpose. So just talk about that. Tim, what is your purpose? When you were running Task, if you can go back to that.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you were. Mid 20s? Were you 30?
Yeah, I was 25 when I started here.
25. What was your purpose? What was your destiny? Let's go.
All right. So purpose is the why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And I remember, I'm a CPA, which you know what that stands for. It's a constant pain in the abdomen. That's what it means.
Abdomen.
And or other body parts.
I'll just put this on there in honor of that statement.
So we're talking about. I remember being in advanced accounting class, and if you've ever been on that, and you CPAs out there, I love you. I see that brilliance in your eyes already. Okay, so I'm in there, and I'm daydreaming about the businesses I want to start. And I remember writing this down and saying this to somebody. It says, if I don't go to law school, I'm not gonna climb the corporate ladder. I'm gonna build one. All right? And so it was the whole purpose here is I needed to be involved in building the corporate ladder. That was my purpose.
Okay.
I was involved in doing that.
Have you, and I'm being real, but maybe not in your life, but I know for me, when I sold the DJ company, I'd worked forever to build this thing.
Yeah.
Pulled all-nighters. I actually worked construction for 60 hours a week, and then after time and a half, I got home at 5 or 6, and I went and then I worked. It's ridiculous. But I worked from 4 in the morning till 6 o'clock, and then I would work as a home health aide at night on the all-night shift because I could sleep on the clock after people went to bed. It's a bad deal. And I put everything I had into the company, and I remember when I had a chance to cash those checks, and I remember thinking, I could hit my financial goal if I just sell this business right now. It wasn't selling the business that hurt. It was selling my purpose It was selling my perceived destiny. And I felt kind of lost. And I think a lot of us, if you're watching this, maybe you played a sport in high school and you've been a dancer or a cheerleader or a volleyball player or a basketball player, something, and all of a sudden you're done with that. And you show me a guy who's without money but has a purpose and a destiny, he's a happy guy.
They're energetic.
But if you take rid of that, if you get rid of those two things, it's hard. So what would be something you could tell me right now if I don't know my destiny and my purpose? How do I find it?
Well, I like to start with, what do you know? And when I get people to say, well, what is my purpose? Is this mysterious, huge, gargantuan thing? What is my life all about? What's my purpose? I don't know. Yeah. Woo. What's my purpose? I don't know. Yeah. Woo. What's my purpose? My purpose. What's my purpose? Purpose. And so, think about these 3 words. 3 words. Here's what your purpose is all about. To help others. To help others. The only way you can be happy, and this is amazing, the most popular class at Harvard University is this class called Positive Psychology. And basically the summary of this class is the only way to happiness is not through the stuff you get. It's not through the accumulation of stuff. It's through the contribution of your heart. Ooh. It's through your ability to impact the lives of somebody else. And so you can begin to fulfill your purpose right now without knowing, well, I'm going to be a nuclear physicist that cures the way of, whatever it may be. That may be a purpose and a sweet by and by, but right now you are designed and wired to help people. Your wealth and your prosperity is going to come because you help more people more effectively. So take little steps towards helping somebody even today.
If you know your purpose too, it helps you say no to stuff. And I just think of today, I had a text message today, hey, could you help on Wednesday night, help my son compete in the Pine Derby? So I text back, no. Could you, lady says today, could you help us grow our company? You have to come down to Dallas to help us. It's not in Costa Rica. No. And so I keep going through these things, and I've already activated a whole series of thoughts to get to Costa Rica, and I will begin changing things till that becomes the reality.
Right.
We got to get on. The purpose is powerful.
Yeah, the purpose is really, you're not going to grow your business unless you get really focused. And you'll notice here you've been, if you've tried businesses and they haven't quite really got off, or you've been struggling in this business, it may be a direct proportion to the level of focus and concentration you have. When you know your purpose, you're able to really write that down. There's that definiteness of purpose, as Napoleon Hill said. It allows you to stay focused, to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. It's going to be very, very powerful.
I'm going to give you a boom here. Just reach over and just kind of. Oh, man. Okay.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta, again, this acta non verba. What it means is, is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say.
My name is Robert Redmond. I actually first met Clay almost 3 years ago to the day. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I wasn't working with him at the time. I asked to see him and just ask him some questions to help direct my life, to get some mentorship. But I've been working with Clay for now just over a year. The role I play here is a business coach, business consultant. I work with different businesses, implementing best practice processes and systems that I have learned here by working with Clay. And the experience working here has, to put it real plainly, has been just life-changing. I have not only learned new things and have gained new knowledge, but I have gained a whole new mindset that I believe wherever I end up will serve me well throughout the rest of my life. Since working with Clay, I have learned so much. I mean, I would like to say almost everything about business in terms of the different categories. I haven't learned it all, but I've learned all about marketing. I've learned about advertising. I've learned about branding. I've learned how to create a sales process for organizations in any industry. I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to create repeatable systems and processes and hold people accountable. How to hire people. It's almost like every aspect of a business you can learn. I have learned a lot in those different categories.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're talking about this idea, this concept of how do you make $1 million a year? That's the question. How do you make $1 million a year? Let's start with a better question, though. How do you make $100,000 a year? Now, this is a true story, and on part 2 of today's show, you're going to hear about the subject of the story, all right? So years ago, I ran into a man, and I believe the man was in his 50s when he found me. I don't want to get the years wrong. I think he was 50 when I met him. And at the age of 50, a lot of people think, I can't be successful because I'm 50. I'm too old to be successful. Now, this client didn't have that mindset, but a lot of people think, I can't be successful because I'm too old. Other people think I can't be successful because I'm too young. Other people think I can't be successful because I don't have enough money saved. Other people think I can't be successful because the timing's not right. Other people say I can't be successful because I don't have kids yet. I'm not married yet. Maybe I can't be successful because I am married. Maybe I can't be successful because I have too many kids. I can't be successful till after graduation, till before the graduation. I can't be successful. The time's just not right. But Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author, he wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. And that book absolutely changed my life. The book is called Think and Grow Rich. And one of the lines in the book is he says, the time will never be just right. You must act now. So here's the story I want to talk about today, and I want to get your thoughts on this. So Devin, a guy shows up in my life, 50 years old, and he saw me at a speaking event. I was speaking at Victory Christian Center. I was a speaker there, and I was scheduled to speak before the man, and after I spoke before the man, he heard me speak, and then afterwards he said hello. He followed up with me. He followed up to reach out to me. He invited me out for pizza. Now, at the time, I was like, I want to say 32, because I'm 43, so it's been 10 years ago, so I'd been like 33, and he would have been 50. Mm-hmm. And he reaches out to me, and he says, hey, I would love it if you could teach me how to grow my business, because I always have between 5 and 20 clients. He says, I'm a consultant, and I always have between 5 and 20 clients. I'm always somewhere between 5 and 20 clients, and I want to grow a big business like you've built, and I want to know if you can teach me. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Why don't most people ask for help if their business is perpetually stuck?
Probably they're just embarrassed.
They're embarrassed?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jordan? Why don't most people ask? Because this guy, he's 50 years old. I just spoke at Victory Christian Center. It was a crowd of maybe 75 or 100 people. And I was speaking on how to grow a successful company. And this guy, who was the speaker who spoke after me, he had a book that he had written that wasn't selling super well. He had a consulting business that had between 5 and 20 clients. It was always kind of stuck. He didn't know how to acquire new clients. But why won't most people reach out for help, Jordan?
Probably because they either think, one, it's like, oh, that's great information. I don't know how that applies to me. They don't know how to implement it, like the systems that you teach, or they're not actually interested in growing. The idea of it.
And again, without mentioning who this person is, well, on part 2 of today's show, I'll let everybody hear from this person. But without mentioning who this person is, because I don't want you guys to know that part of the story yet. But why do you think, Devin, that this person said, hey, I would like for you to help me. Please help me. Why did this person call me and say, is there any way you could meet me for pizza? I want to meet you. Is there any way you could help me? Why?
Because you had a successful business and he knew you could help him.
Okay. So I sit down with the person for pizza, sit down with them. This is a true story. Sit down with them for pizza. They're asking me questions. Well, how did you start your business? How did you grow your business? How did you get your first client? How did you get your next 10 clients? How did you get your next 20 clients? And I'm just, laying it out. And then we go for he says, well, I want to become a client. I said, sure. He says, well,
What do you charge? I tell them the fee. There's a little bit of a pushback there, a little bit of a, ooh. Now, why do I, Jordan, charge clients $1,700 a month? By the way, if you're listening out there today, we do scholarships too, okay? So in this particular case, I ended up working with this guy at a discounted rate, and I said, hey, as long as you pay me $750 a month per consulting client that you add to your portfolio. So you pay me $750 a month per new client that you add. I'll work with you at a little bit of a below market rate, but every time you add a client, you'll just pay me $750 a month. So you add a new client for $2,000 a month, you pay me $750 a month. You add a client for $3,000 a month, you pay me $750 a month. Because my team, we can do photography, videography, web, search engine. We have the workflow, we have the website optimization, we know how to do online ads, we know how to build sales systems, sales scripts. We know how to lead meetings. We know how to lead staff meetings. We know how to do the group interview process. We know hiring. And this guy didn't know the group interview. He didn't have the group interview, didn't understand the idea of the group interview, didn't know how to optimize websites, didn't know how to do online ads, didn't know how to do videography, didn't know how to do photography, didn't know how to make landing pages that convert, didn't know how to do retargeting ads, did not know these things. Why do you think, Jordan, that this guy said, well, that deal makes sense?
Because that's a lot of value, and it doesn't matter. It's what he needed. You know, if it's what he needs to do to grow his business, if that's what it takes, then that's a fair price.
And why would I, Devin, be willing to work with this client at and tell this client, hey, you know what? I'll be willing to work a little bit below rate as long as we have a signed agreement that you'll pay me $750 per new client that you add. Why would I say, yeah, I'll teach you all my systems and you can use my staff if you pay me $750 per month?
Because you believe that you can help him and it'll make you money. So
it's a win-win.
Now this is a true story. I want people to be very, very clear. When this client, when I met this person at Victory Christian Center, and you're going to hear them say in this video testimonial that they always had between 5 and 20 clients. Would it be shocking to you if we grew this person's business to where they had 50 clients? We're talking about 50,000. Again, they're charging an average of $2,000 a client. Would it be shocking to you that this person's business grew from 5 to 20 clients to 50 clients? Would that be shocking to you, Devin?
Knowing you, no, it's not shocking. I believe it.
And he talks about it. Okay, so this is what a real story. So we're growing the guy's business, and I've helped him make all the scripts. I helped him learn the call recording process. I helped him learn how to train a team of sales professionals. And then he says to me, hey, I don't have a team of callers. Could I use your callers? And Devin, why would I say, sure, you can use my callers, knowing that I have a $750 a month ongoing. Every time he gets a new client, I make $750. Why would I say, sure, use my callers?
Because your callers will make the calls and get the clients, and then that's more money for you.
Now, the same client comes to me and says, hey, I don't have an office to meet clients. And Jordan, why would I say, hey, you could office in my office for free? Which, by the way, I do that for Clay Stairs. For anybody out there that doesn't know, Clay Stairs offices in my office, and I charge him $0 a month to be in my office. Jordan, why would I say, sure, you could use my office space? Which, by the way, at the time I was at the Riverwalk, and my monthly rent or expense to be there, because it was a lease and you have utilities, so I'm paying $20,000 a month to be in there. Why would I say you could be in my office for free?
Because it's still a win-win. So if he grows, you grow.
Yeah. So I said, you could use my office for free. You could use my cold callers for free. You could use my physical office. And I said, and then the man says to me, hey, I don't have any, now I've got so many consulting clients. I don't have any other consultants that work for me. Could you train my consultants for me? So I'm giving the guy office space. I'm giving the guy my cold callers. We're doing all the back end support. Why did I say, sure, I'll train your consultants myself? Why would I do that, Devin?
Because the more consultants he gets, the more money you make. And then, well, I guess the more clients he gets, then the more money you make.
Right. And so this client, he says, could you train my son? I said, sure. I let his son shadow me, ride with me. He rode with me in my vehicle. We drove to Farmers Insurance, where the first meeting where he got a chance to shadow me, training the insurance agents. He followed me to my office meetings with Face and Body. He followed me to all my client meetings. And I let the client, why would I, Jordan, mentor this man's son, knowing that I make $750 per month per client?
because that's part of the deal. If you train him to do the same thing, you bring in more clients, you bring in more money. It's the same thing. It's a shalom relationship. They grow,
the
you
win-win,
grow.
the
It's
shalom.
a win-win.
Yeah. Now, if you're out there listening today, and again, I'm telling you the story because there's somebody out there that you're like, I'm too old to be successful. I'm too young. I'm too whatever the situation is. What happens is you have this like mental block where you're like, well, the time's not right. Well, anyway, long story short, with this particular client, I'll let him share part 2 of the show, part 2 of the story. I helped this guy grow his business to where he has 100 clients. 100 clients. We're talking about a net monthly profit every month, a profit of over $50,000 a month this guy's making. Now, if you're making $50,000 a month, every 2 months you're making $100,000. Every 6 months, folks, follow the math here. Every 2 months you're making $100,000. Every 4 months you're making $200,000. Every 6 months you're making $300,000. I mean, think about this is life-changing stuff here, and we do that all day. So if you're out there today and you feel like, man, I want to become successful, you either have to learn from guesswork or you have to follow what's been proven to work. And I would recommend that everybody out there, that you don't run through the landmine of life. You're not streaking through the minefield of life looking for solutions. I mean, I think streaking as a general rule is not the move. But streaking through the minefield of life, hoping that you find the right solutions, doesn't make any sense. Why not just follow a proven path? And so that's why I do scholarships. Let me explain how the scholarships work. I will work with a client. I'll say, hey, you know what? $1,700 a month is what I charge, and we operate at a 20% margin, so it's a $340 a month profit per client. However, I reserve the right, have the ability to, I will make the offer of, hey, I'll work with you at a discounted rate, and I'll even let people like claystairs.com, and I'll even let people like timredmond.com, and I'll even let clients like d2branding.com. These are, look them up, folks. Claystairs.com. It's CLAYSTAIRES.com. d2branding.com. The letter D and then the number 2, branding.com. Redmondgrowth.com. Redmondgrowth.com. I'll let these people office in my office for free. Because why would I do that, Deb? Why would I say, hey, if I'm making a percentage of the revenue that you're making, why would I say, sure, be in my office for free. Sure, office in my office for free. Sure, I'll staff your cold callers. Sure, I'll do the interview. I'll do the group interview for you and find you employees for you. Sure, I'll train your employees for you. Sure, you can shadow me and actually observe everything I do. In fact, in the case of Mr. Redmond, we're going to talk about him on part 2 of today's show. I said, you know what? Why don't you just invite your new clients to my conference? That's fine. Why would I do that without charging this person's clients?
Because doing that makes them grow, and then that just makes you more money. So it makes sense.
And you hit on it, and I'm not trying to say that what you said isn't accurate. I just want to hammer home what Jordan said. It's a shalom. It's a win-win. It's the ultimate win-win, isn't it? I mean, That's the idea, the word shalom. Look it up, folks. It's a win-win. It's a biblical idea. But the client wins, I win, and it's the move. Now, Jordan, whenever we do an onboarding for a new client, and I'll do probably 2 or 3 of these today, 2 or 3 tomorrow, but we have, let's say a dozen people a week that reach out for coaching.
Yep.
And there's usually 1 or 2 a week. I offer a free 13-point assessment. Why would I do a free 13-point assessment with anybody who wants to work with us or who's thinking about working with us? Why would I do a free 13-point assessment?
Well, one, knowing it's free, so people will do it, But you have to see, one, if they're a good fit for the program, and if they'll do the work, and 2, if
okay, and why are the vast majority of people not a good fit? Now, I'm sure if you're listening right now, I'm sure you're a great fit. But why, Devin, are the vast majority of people not a good fit? So why would I do the group? Why would I do the weekly 13-point assessments with this large group of potential candidates? Why would I do these 13-point assessments for free, knowing that the vast majority of the people that fill out the form are not a good fit?
Because before they become a client and pay the monthly fee, you have to know if they're willing to do the work.
Right? And if they are, then that's a good fit.
Yeah.
And then as far as the fee, I don't even really worry. I'm not going to work with you for free, but I do scholarships for anybody who has the mental capacity and the tenacity needed to do the work. That's why you see all the time. We had a client here recently. I said, hey, why don't you come shadow me? You can come to my office in Tulsa and see what I do before, because this client was passionate about paying me. I won't mention their name or their industry, but this person recently shadowed me. They brought their team with me, with them, and they were passionate about hiring me. They're like, we want to hire you. And why did I say, Devin, why don't you just come to Tulsa and shadow me? Watch what I do. Watch how I work with our 160 clients. Watch how we help them grow. Look at these clients. Go to Thrivetime Show. Look at the testimonials. See the massive growth. Why would I do that? And again, it's a month-to-month relationship to start. Why would I have someone shadow before I decide to take them on?
Because they are able to see the environment here and the work, and it helps them realize, okay, this is going to be me. Actually, never mind. I don't want to work with you. This is too much for me. You know, it kind of gives them that chance.
But it's a proven path.
Yep.
So now we move on. So now, Jordan, you watch this. When I tell a client it's time, okay, yeah, you are a good fit. If they are a good fit. If they go to thrivetimeshow.com, they do a 13-point assessment. I think they're a good fit. They think they're a good fit. Why would I say, hey, today's the 18th. Let me charge you $1 today to reserve your spot. And then we're not going to even charge you that monthly recurring fee of $1,700 a month, or if it's a scholarship, that recurring fee of $750 a month. We won't even charge you that until the first. Why would I give them that first couple weeks free?
Because you want to make sure that they actually want to do it instead of in their excitement and being hyped up. They're like, oh yeah, sign me up. I want to do it. And then a week later they're like, oh wait, I don't, I can't do it.
So on today's show, it's going to be like the ultimate testimonial. You're going to have a client that's going to explain to you. I worked with this client for, I think, 9 years. And they're going to explain how they doubled their business every single year. Then you're going to have this client, Tim Redmond. You're going to hear his son explain how I actually taught his son everything about business. His son will say this, and you're going to go, so you gave this guy free office space, you taught his son, you let your cold callers make call for the guy's business, you helped the guy make the call scripts, his website, his print pieces, his marketing materials. You even taught him his core product and service. You let him office there for free. You let him attend your conferences for free, and you let his clients attend the conference for free. Why would you do that? Well, because it's a win-win. You tell your client. And why would I, before I have anybody sign a contract, Jordan, before I have someone sign the contract, why would I give it to them and say, please read this with the assistance of an attorney before you, because I don't like to do a contractual agreement with most people, but if it's somebody who's on a scholarship or it's somebody who we're going to work with and really help them scale, I like to get a contract so that way it's a contractually binding, like, hey, we're going to help you scale. That's how I generate a lot of wealth, is helping people scale their business. Why would I say, please take the contract, do not sign it today, take it home, run it by your attorney, at least look at it for at least 7 days before you sign it? Why would I do that?
Because most people aren't sure about what they want to do. So you give them a chance to look it over, make sure they want to do it. Because if they don't want to do it, you don't want to sign them up.
Devin, why would I have somebody? Why would I say, hey, Devin, you want to become a longtime partner client? That's exciting. I'm going to charge you, in this case of Tim Redmond, $750 per month per client. So for forever, every time you land a client, I'm going to charge you $750 per client to use my systems and processes. Why would I say, please read that agreement, eyes wide open, in advance, read it, run it by an attorney before you sign it? Why would I do that?
Because when you first give them the contract, they're pumped, they're excited, and then you give them some time to think about it, so they really understand, hey, this is forever. So no matter if you have 50 clients,
it's like a mortgage.
A mortgage, yeah.
Yeah, and the word mortgage, by the way, means death grip. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to enter into an agreement with somebody unless I really want to be in a win-win shalom relationship. So on part 2 of today's show, you're going to hear this incredible success story of how we help to grow Redmond to growth. I think it's going to be a blasty blast, but I think it might be better if you hear it in their own words. This is Tim Redmond and Robert Redmond from RedmondGrowth.com. Again, that's Tim Redmond and Robert Redmond from Redmond Growth. You can hear their own words. It's an incredible success story. Hopefully it pumps you up, folks. And if you're out there today and you feel like the time might not be right to grow your business, I would encourage you that the time is now. never right. You must act now. To quote Napoleon Hill, the time will never be just right. You must act now. And so I would encourage you, you got one of 3 ways we can help you today. One, you can go to thrivetimeshow.com and book a ticket for our in-person workshop where we tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford to pay. What a good deal. Second option is you can schedule a 13-point assessment. Maybe you need a checkup from the neck up to see if we can help you. That's okay. That's thrivetimeshow.com, and you get your free checkup from the neck up, a 13-point assessment. Or option 3 is we offer the one-on-one business consulting, business coaching. It is going to be an exciting show. I'm so fired up for everybody to hear it. Devin, Jordan, I appreciate you guys. You're here every day helping clients grow their business, and I just thought it would help for the folks out there to know these are real stories. These are not holograms. These are not get-rich-quick schemes. This is a client who we worked with over like an 8-year period of time, and you're going to hear the progression over an 8-year relationship, and hopefully it does encourage everybody out there that this is your year. This is your time. The time will never be just right. You must act now. Without any further ado, we're going to end this part 1 with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. Again, boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. If we go back 8 years ago, think about the number of clients you had back then versus the number of clients you have now. As a percentage, what has been the growth over the past 8 years, do you think? We got to inspire somebody out there who just doesn't have the time to listen to their calls.
Okay, so Clay, it's like I would go up and down from about $10,000 a month up to about $40,000, but it's up and down roller coaster. And so now we've got it to where we're in excess of 100 clients.
That's awesome.
And so I would have anywhere from 5 clients to 20 clients on my own with networking, but I had no control over it. I didn't, without the systems, you're going to be victimized by your own business.
For somebody out there who struggles with math, if you, let's say that your average number of clients was 30 and you go to 100, as a percentage, what is that?
I have doubled every year since working with you. So I've doubled in clients, I've doubled in revenue every year. It's 100% growth every year I've worked with. Now, so I'm looking, we've been good friends 7-8 years, and I've got doubled 5 times.
Which is just incredible. I mean, the first time you do it, that's one thing, but when you do it repeatedly, I mean, that's unbelievable.
We're working our Blessed Assurance off this year to double. We're planning on doubling again. We're incorporating some new things in there to really help us do it, but we are going to double again this year. I started coaching, but it would go up and down, Clay. That's when I came to you, as I was going up and down, and I wanted to go up and up instead of up and down. And so that's when it needed a system. So creating a system is you have nailed down specific steps that you're going to take no matter how you feel, no matter the results. You lean into them and you do them regardless of what's happening. You lean into them, and it will give you X number of leads. You follow up with those leads, turns into sales. Well, I tell you, it's if you don't have a script and you don't have a system, then every day is a whole new creation. You're creating a lot of energy just to figure out what are you going to do.
Right.
And the best executives, Peter Drucker is a father of modern management. He said the most effective executives make one decision a year. What you do is you make a decision, what is your system, and then you work like the Dickens to make sure you follow that system. And so that's really what it's all about. So with a script here, we have a brand new gal that just came in working for us. She nailed down the script, and she's been nailing down appointments. Usually we try to get one appointment for every 100 calls. We make 200 to 300 calls a day per rep.
Right.
And she's been nailing down 5 and 8 appointments a day.
Somebody out there's having a hard time.
That script.
So she's making how many calls a day?
She's making between 200 and 300 calls a day.
Whoa. And our relationship is weird in that we do. If someone were to buy an Apple computer today, and or let's say you bought a personal computer, a PC, the computer is made by, let's say, Dell, but then the software in the computer would be Microsoft, let's say, or Adobe or whatever that is. So I basically make the systems, and you're like the computer and I'm like the software. It's kind of how I would describe our relationship. Yeah. Tim, I want to ask you this. You and I reconnected. I think it was in the year 2000 and what was it? Maybe 2010. Is that right? 2011, maybe, or no, maybe further down the road. Maybe 2013.
2012.
Okay, so 2012, and at that time I was 5 years removed from the DJ business, and you were how many years removed from tax and accounting software?
It was about 10, 11 years.
We met. How did we re-meet? What was the first interaction? There was some interaction where you and I first connected. I just remember that somehow you and I went to Hideaway Pizza. But do you remember when we first reconnected?
Yeah. Well, we had that speaking thing that.
There it was. So it was Victory Christian Center. I was speaking there.
My name is Robert Redmond. I actually first met Clay almost 3 years ago to the day. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I wasn't working with him at the time. I asked to see him and just ask him some questions to help, direct my life, to get some mentorship. But I've been working with Clay for now just over a year. The role I play here is a business coach, business consultant. I work with different businesses implementing best practice processes and systems that I have learned here by working with Clay. And the experience working here has, to put it real plainly, has been just life-changing. I have not only learned new things and have gained new knowledge, but I have gained a whole new mindset that I believe wherever I end up will serve me well throughout the rest of my life. Since working with Clay, I have learned so much. I mean, I would like to say almost everything about business in terms of the different categories. I haven't learned it all, but I've learned all about marketing. I've learned about advertising. I've learned about branding. I've learned how to create a sales process for organizations in any industry. I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to create repeatable systems and processes and hold people accountable. How to hire people. It's almost like every aspect of a business you can learn. I have learned a lot in those different categories. And then, again, the mindset that I've gained here has been huge. Working here, you can't be a mediocre person. You are a call to a higher standard of excellence. And then as you're called to that standard here, you begin to see those outcomes in every area of your life, that standard of excellence that you want to implement no matter what you're involved in. I would like to describe the other people that work with Clay are people that are going somewhere with their life. Marshall in the group interview talks about how the best fits for this organization are the people that are goal-oriented. So they're on their own trajectory, and we're on our own trajectory. And the best fits are those people where there can be a mutually beneficial relationship, that as we pursue our goals and we help the business pursue those goals, the business helps us pursue our goals as well. And so I'd say people that are driven, people that want to make something of their lives, people that are goal-oriented, they're focused, and they're committed to overcoming any adversity that may come their way. Clay's passion for helping business owners grow their businesses it's unique in that I don't know if there's anyone else that can be as passionate. Whenever a business starts working with Clay, it's almost as like Clay is running that business in the sense that he has something at stake. He's just serving them. They're one of his clients, but it's as if he is actively involved in the business. Whenever they have a win, he's posting it all over his social media. He's shouting it across the room here at Thrive. He's sending people encouraging messages. He can kind of be that life coach and business coach in terms of being that a motivator and that champion for people's businesses. It's again unique because there's no one else I've seen get so excited about and passionate about other people's businesses. The kind of people that wouldn't like working with Clay are people that are satisfied with mediocrity. People that want to get through life by just doing enough by just getting by. People who are not looking to develop themselves, people who are not coachable, people who think that they know it all and they're unwilling to change. I would say those are the type of people. In short, anyone that's content with mediocrity would not like working with Clay. So if you're meeting Clay for the first time, the advice I'd give you is definitely come ready to take tons of notes. Every time Clay speaks, he it gives you a wealth of knowledge that you don't want to miss. I remember the first time that I met Clay, I literally carried a notebook with me all around. I was looking at this notebook the other day, actually. I carried a notebook with me all around, and I just took tons of notes. I filled the entire notebook in about 3 or 4 months, just from being around Clay, following him, and learning from him. And then I would say, come coachable. Be open to learning something new. Be open to challenging yourself. Be open to learning and adjusting parts about you that need to be adjusted.
My name's Adam Beal, and I'm the Vice President of Phone Doctors. I've been with Phone Doctors for 4 years now. We've been doing work with Clay for the past year. The exciting part is that I got it after about the second meeting. I understood when I came back in and he was wearing the exact same thing. It was like, okay, I understand why he's doing this now, because I've seen so many other successful people model the same thing. The $2,000 monthly fee is completely a no-brainer as long as you embrace the system, because you will see the results. What's great is when I'm in my stores now and I hear people come into my store and they say, "Hey, are you Jose?" And my manager says, "Yes, I am." They say, "Well, we're here because of the Google review that we saw on your Google page." And when I hear that, I know what we're being taught and what we're executing is working, because I've never heard that before when I would go into the stores. Clay's helped us a lot with our Google reviews, as I've spoken to. They help us with our Google pages as well, making sure that they're up to date. Anytime we need new pictures taken care of, his team goes out, does that for us. They take great care of our AdWords, and we have them writing AdWords and different types of content, writing more content and articles for our web page, which is driving more and more traffic through our webpage, which in turn is also leading more customers into our stores. Clay's team has also helped us look at different ways to challenge our stores through simple things such as adding on additional upsell items that have no cost of goods related to it, so it's a pure profit transaction. We just recently implemented an urgent repair that many customers have asked for in the past, but we just didn't stop and take time to think about it. Clay has challenged us to come up with an idea. He'd been thinking about our business. We've implemented it, and now all of a sudden we're seeing more and more people utilize this urgent repair that gets their repair done in 30 minutes or less. And if we don't meet that time, then they don't pay anything else. But we're seeing revenues generate through small little key items such as that. The greatest focus we've had is in upselling and trying to figure out different ways to take the customers that we have and increase the profitability through them. Even though we see transactions being increased, the ability to take something as simple as a protection plan that we've implemented, implementing the urgent repair, and continuing to look for new ways to generate revenue off the customers that you currently have while letting them, the Thrive team, drive more customers into your stores. So not only are you getting more customers coming into your store, but he's giving you key ways to actually improve the quality of sale once those customers come in. Some of the moves and tips that Clay's team at Thrive 15 have taught us is to focus on the upsell more than anything. We've implemented new urgent repair that allows customers to come in, and if they're in a hurry, they pay a small fee to get that repair moved to the front of the line. We get it done in 30 minutes or less. And if we don't meet that, then they don't pay anything. We've also focused more on our protection plans and driving those results, which is a simple add-on as well. And that has led to much more revenue for us because of our redemption rate. Last year we saw our sales improve. Our sales transactions improved 3% over the previous year. And talking with other retailers in our market, none of them saw that, which was incredibly exciting to us. We just got back from CES about 2 weeks ago, and we were able to find out from about 15 other independent mobile device companies that they all saw downtrends last year. And we were very excited to see how well we did last year because we saw our profits and transactions all go up last year. All right, through Clay's team here at Thrive 15, they have taken aggressive a step at really helping us improve our search engine optimization through content and writing articles, as well as through challenging us in the process of improving our Google reviews. We've seen all of our stores in both markets, the Arkansas and Oklahoma market, all go to the top of the Google listings anytime you search any type of mobile device repair, cell phone repair. We are at the top every single city, which is great because we've seen that that's where customers are going to. When they're going to find somebody that they want to trust, they're going through Google to see what your rating is, to see how many reviews you have, and it is so important to make sure that you get that first mark of 50 reviews, then you got to challenge yourself to get to that 100. We have every single location of ours has over 100 reviews, except for 2 new ones that we've opened, and we continue to see them go even further and further. So the goal is to take our competition and make them not want to play in that game, and we've done that. His team in Thrive is not only just a marketing company, they're coaches as well, which is great. So many times through my 25-year career in retail, I've encountered people like Clay and his team and just never have really got the buy-in. But with Clay and his team, they're genuine. They break it down, they make it simple. They've got a proven track record, and you walk in and you see the businesses that they've developed, and it makes it so much easier to really just buy into the program. The weekly meetings are very structured. You start on time and you finish on time, and you're expected to come prepared with the topics that you were giving last week. If you show up and you're not prepared, the meeting could end very quickly because you're not doing what you've committed to. And that's the great thing about it, is he keeps you on course, he keeps you focused, and you see the results if you do what you're asked to do. I never thought I would need a business coach, life coach, but it's great now to every week when I'm talking to people to say, I'm going to see my business coach this morning. And they look at me and all of a sudden there's questions being asked. And we've even recommended people and had them come and join the Thrive team, which has been pretty exciting for me as well. So, because I believe in it, and I would never recommend them to a good friend unless I knew it could help.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta, again, this acta non verba. What it means is, is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it that has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're interviewing a real entrepreneur that's having real success. Now, again, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it all the time, but Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he's been on our show. I've been on his show. He talks about how at the end of the day, it's about what you do, not what you say. You need to watch what people do, not what they say. And so if you're out there today and you're saying, my business is stuck, I don't know if I have what it takes to grow it, I hope you find a lot of encouragement from today's guest because he is a very normal person. He's a diligent doer, and he's somebody who reached out, and we've been able to help him grow his business, and I'm super excited to have him on today's show. Sean, tell us who we're interviewing on today's show, sir.
So this is Cody Ellis, the owner of Tri-Peak Construction based out of Reno, Nevada, who has been with us for about 1 year and grown his company by 107%. Using a whole bunch of things that we helped him implement that we can talk about today.
All right, Cody Ellis, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
So how did you originally hear about the Thrivetime Show or the business coaching, the business growth coaching that we provide?
A friend of mine with OSS, Organized Storage Solutions, recommended you. At the time, he kind of gave me the breakdown of what you guys did, and it was a lot of money at the time when we were talking about it. But me and my wife discussed it. She's my CFO, and we decided to give you guys a shot.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up so our listeners can see this because I think this helps put a little bit of visual meat on the bone, so to speak here. When we work with clients to help them grow their business, we walk people through what is a 14-step linear workflow. And for clients, sometimes they might not think about it this way, but this is how I look at it. It's almost like puzzle pieces that have to come together. And if we do it right, out comes a successful company. And so we charge people $1,700 a month to help out our clients. That's what we charge, $1,700 a month. And we operate at a 20% profit margin. So we make $340 a month per client. I'd like to ask you, with your business, can you tell the listeners out there, what exactly do you do and what's your website so people can prove you're not a hologram?
So my name's Tri-Peak Construction and Design. I've been building a franchise called Rocket Fizz Soda Pop and Candy Shop since 2008. I didn't get my California contractor's license till 2015, when the franchise went on Undercover Boss. And ever since then, I've been mainly doing it. These franchise build outs all over the United States. 2020 work got slow, and pretty much I have been relying on other work to get me jobs, and I wasn't getting good jobs. I was just kind of scrambling. And this year I kind of finally figured it out because you guys helped me organize my whole company. I felt like I was floating like not going anywhere, struggling, angry. I feel like I have a good, strong foundation right now.
Well,
so
it's interesting.
That's where you guys help me.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I appreciate you being so honest about it, because I know a lot of people, a lot of my wonderful clients, we have one client in particular I'm thinking of right now. He lost an incredible amount of weight over the last year. And I saw the guy and I said, man, you look great. And he goes, well, I have a business coach that helps me grow my business. So I figured I should probably have a fitness coach. And the fitness coach got him on a diet that made sense and a workout plan that made sense. And he really had tremendous transformation. And so if you're out there today and you feel stuck, don't feel stuck, but there's a linear path you have to go down. And if you go to TripeakConstruction.com, you can see the website, but there's a linear path you have to go down to grow your business. And we'll walk you through this, folks. If you're listening out there today, you can do it. So first off, you have to establish your revenue goals. Now, I'm not going to ask you on the show here what your revenue goals are, but do you in your mind have revenue goals at this point? I mean, do you have those kind of solidified in your mind there, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, me and my wife, we do. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
We do a breakdown. We do a breakdown, like our goals this year. Like right now, mine's getting more employees. That's going to be my next step. You know, I have my office. I do have a couple independent contractors, but finding good, solid employees that I can keep busy all the time is definitely going to be my goal this year.
And if we look at your website, I mean, you build you actually do remodeling and you do a good job. But let me pull this up so people can see this here. I mean, this is not, people pay you to actually go in there and to remodel and do construction, and you do a good job. I mean, at TripeakConstruction.com. Now, again, I'm not asking you on this show, but as I mentioned to our listeners, we operate at a 20% margin. So if I charge someone $1,700 a month to grow their business, I make a $340 a month profit. In your case, do you have in your mind what that profit percentage should be there, sir? I'm not trying to ask you I'm not trying to ask you like the specific number, but I mean, when you do jobs now, do you have a better understanding, you and Sean, as far as the profit you're making per job, I guess, is that?
Yeah, we've implemented the job audit system, which is allowing us to make course corrections project to project when it comes to our profit. But I think your gross profit per job was somewhere around 30% this year. If that does that sound right?
Yeah, my local jobs, I average around 30% profit, and then the franchise jobs, I average about 60 to 70%.
And the reason why I mention this is so many people feel bad about being profitable. And I always tell people, we charge people $1,700 a month to grow their business, and we make a $340 a month profit. And people that come to our office, they meet our graphic designers, our photographers, our web developers, our online ad folks, our consultants, and they go, wow, there's 45 people that work here. Oh, that's where the money goes, because everybody who works here gets paid, and we do all of that for that monthly fee that we charge. Now, as far as box 3, determining the number of hours that you work per week, I know you and Sean have helped to design a schedule that's always changing. It's always in flux. With every client we have, they're always optimizing their schedule. We move on to box 4. Defining your unique value proposition. Did you and Sean work together to register your Google Map and optimize the website there? Cody, did you guys work on that together?
Yes. So my company was based out of my home, and I realized that Google doesn't, I'm a general contractor working out of my home, doesn't look very professional. And he coached me and pushed me to get an office, pretty much the first part of our coaching, and it's helped me tremendously.
Now, what happens is, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to give like 5 examples rapid fire so people can see this, okay? So we're going to do a search right now. We're going to type in carpet cleaning quotes. And this is a brand, full disclosure. I've worked with OxyFresh to help them grow their business. And anybody out there that buys an OxyFresh, I make $5,000 every time we sell one, okay? So we've sold over 500 OxyFresh franchises. And here's the secret sauce here. There's many things we do, but we have 274,000 Google reviews. We're the highest reviewed company on the planet right now. So if you type in carpet cleaning quotes, we come up top in the search results. If you go to Joplin Gyms, full disclosure, just so we're clear, Each one of these gyms, I make about $300 a month per gym they have open. Okay. So just to be clear, they've got 6 gyms now open. So I make about $300 per month per gym they have open. So there's, so you type in Joplin Gyms. Look, Koloff Fitness has 10,000 Google reviews. I mean, wow. Okay. And am I biased to endorse them and promote them? Absolutely. Why? Because I get about $300 per gym they open. Let's look at this one. Let's type in Tulsa men's haircuts. And I'm just giving a lot of examples. And for all of these, you have to have a registered, verified Google map, and you have to have an optimized website. There we are coming up top again. And we don't come up top in the search results because I'm a good guy. We come up top in the search results because we're following a good system. And I think that's one of the struggles that I've had in my life is to see great people like you, Cody, who have a business that's not ranking. And I have a passion to help them get more leads, but yet the client sometimes doesn't want to do the things needed to succeed. I'm like, I need you to get a Google map and to have an optimized website. And the client, not you, but certain clients will say, yeah, but my sister made the website on Wix and she spent all weekend on it. And I officed out of my house and I don't want to register a Google map. And my cousin made the video and I don't want to change it because I don't want to offend him. And my husband made the online ads and my wife did this. And they're loyal to dysfunction. What would you say to anybody out there as far as how it's impacted your business having an optimized website and optimized Google Map?
My phone rings off the hook. I have a hard time keeping up with all the calls I get.
That is the move. Okay. So we move on. We're looking at this. We're looking at the system here. This is, again, someone says, well, what's the secret sauce? Well, this is like Sean having a menu, me sitting down with a skilled man or woman who's a cook. And I go, what's the secret ingredient that makes these cookies so great? Tell me now. And they go, well, you got to have all the ingredients. Yeah, but tell me the one. Tell me the one. Like, well, if you don't have eggs, you're screwed. You don't have flour, you're screwed. You don't have chocolate chips. There's no chocolate chips in the chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. And, oh, yeah, but tell me the what. That's how a lot of people want to do it. It's not one thing. It's a puzzle. It comes together. Okay. And what we do with business growth is it's like bumper bowling for business. We make sure you don't throw gutter balls. All right. So improving the branding, we talked about that, optimizing the website. If you're out there today and you feel overwhelmed, don't feel overwhelmed. We will help you. Three-legged marketing stool. Sean, you guys have worked to create a three-legged marketing stool and a lead tracking system so that you actually track the leads.
Correct.
That come in. I want to get Cody's take and then your take on this, Sean. Cody, how has it helped you having a tracking sheet where you know that where the leads are coming in from?
That's huge. Sean has helped me. I mean, I was, like I said, I was floating around writing it on a piece of paper. I'll lose the paper. Now that I have an actual tracking sheet and I can see, where last month, where, or last year, it's 100% helped me.
I don't use the word life-changing lightly. I don't just throw out, oh, that's life-changing, but there are a few things in my life that are life-changing. I'll give you an example. When I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that book changed my life. Implementing the book changed my life. It really did. When I married my wife, the one thing about my wife that I've found that it's wonderful for me in my life is my wife is an incredible mom. I mean, just an awesome mom. Does a great job with the kids, and she's also very faithful, very loyal. And there's just certain benefits to being married. He who finds a great wife finds a great thing. I mean, it's a biblical concept. But you could also have like a bad life change. You could also find the wrong woman. You could find the wrong business consultant. You could read the wrong book. And that's the danger of taking advice from people that don't know what they're doing. Now we have at thrivetimeshow.com, if you go to the website now, as of today, almost 2,100 video testimonials from wonderful people. I got to ask you, even though your friend referred you, Cody, did you go to Thrivetime Show and look at some testimonials, or was that sort of your path a little bit before you decided to call us?
I actually bought your book, Start Here, with the Marlboro Red. So that's where I started with you. I'm not much of a podcaster myself, but I have been. Sean's been texting me links to watch and listen to, but
that's
your book is where
and just so you know, my mom will probably watch this, but the reason why I made the cigarette Marlboro cover was that I believe entrepreneurship is something that is dangerous and it's addictive. meaning that I know a lot of people
Sure.
that get addicted to the idea of entrepreneurship and they go from one failed idea to the next. And I know of other people that are addicted to it and they succeed in entrepreneurship. It's an addictive thing. It can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So again, I'm glad you read that book. Now we move on. The call script. You guys have worked on a call script. Sean, what happens when a client you're working with, when you give them mentorship, but they will not do tracking and they will not use a script? What happens?
Well, at first, it makes it very difficult for me to help them because we don't actually know what's going on in the business.
There it is.
That's the main thing that happens there.
And again, I just want people to see this again. If you go to my newest book, A Millionaire's Guide, again, it's called A Millionaire's Guide. You can download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. You can download it for free. It's A Millionaire's Guide. And the reason why I wrote this is because I don't know. I don't know of a lot of people that know what they're talking about. And so I felt like people needed a guide on how to become sustainably wealthy, not like a get-rich-quick scheme. And in that book, I talk a lot about this, and specifically on page 5, you got to have a call script, you got to have recorded calls, got to have a one sheet, got to have pre-written emails, got to have a lead tracker. You guys are doing that. Now, once you do a good job, you got to make sure you're tracking your expenses and your income. Now, from what I understand is that Cody's been super coachable on that, tracking the income and the expenses.
Yeah.
Cody, has that been helpful for you to be intentional about tracking income and expenses?
100%. We wouldn't know how much I was profiting without that. I mean, that was huge. Materials. I was losing a little bit of money on materials, and not charging enough. And I seem to go above and beyond with my customers as far as like little things. People try to take advantage, but you just got to do it, and then I'll just keep getting more referrals from them. So,
yeah. Now we many other things that we do together. I mean, we run the online ads. We help with the online, reputation management. You do a great job of gathering objective reviews from your happy customers. We manage the online ads. There's a lot of other things that we do with you each and every week. But I'd like to ask you this, kind of in closing, for anybody out there that is on the fence about coming to a workshop or becoming a one-on-one coaching client, we do offer a free 13-point assessment they can schedule at thrivetimeshow.com. But if you had to describe the coaching experience and what it's done for you in maybe a line or two, or final 60 seconds here, how would you describe what the business coaching has done for you and your business, sir?
I mean, I'm profitable. I wake up every day with, just a peace of mind that it's going to be a great day as long as I follow the steps and, just look at your agenda that you guys send me. And I kind of just follow that every day. And then I take down my notes. I'm old school. I don't sit in front of a computer much, but I like to write everything down, and I keep my folders with me and make my phone calls, and that's it.
And what would you say to anybody out there that's thinking about scheduling a 13-point assessment? What would you say to anybody out there that's a business owner that's thinking about scheduling a free consultation?
Why wouldn't you? If you want to grow your company, it's a no-brainer, as you would say.
No brainer. Cody Ellis, thank you for carving out time for us. And anybody out there watching today, please be encouraged. I don't mean this as a backhanded compliment, but Cody's a very normal person. He's a hardworking guy. He's a trustworthy guy. He's a diligent guy. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But what I'm saying is, if you're out there today, you have the tenacity and the capacity needed to become successful. This could be your year, but you got to take the first step. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, schedule that free 13-point assessment again at thrivetimeshow.com. Cody, thank you so much, sir. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to be breaking down what Robert Kiyosaki has recently been talking about. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author, the New York Times best-selling author and real estate investment guru, has recently been talking more and more about acta non verba. You say, what's acta non verba? Well, one, it's Latin, so don't get too concerned there, but it's acta Again, this Octa nonverbal. What it means is is action. You need to watch what people do and not what they say. That's the idea. Watch what somebody does and not what they say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it. It has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done. It's great.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, Octa nonverba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Deeds, not words. So acta non-verba, deeds, not words, or acts, not words. James, a lot of people, they come to our business workshops because they're listening to our podcast, our business podcast, and they say, man, I want to achieve massive success. And they see some of the testimonials and they go, if that guy could do it, I could do it. That's kind of where it starts.
I see it happen all the time, Clay.
Because your desk is about 2 inches from mine, I think.
Right.
And so people will say, oh, if that guy can do it, then I can do it.
That's correct.
So the 2 big principles I want to teach on today's show, just 2 principles. One is this idea of acta non-verba, means acts, not words. The second concept I want to teach is that money is a magnifier.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I've been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
The last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing $3 million. This year we'll do $24 million.
Which is more than, and he's an accountant, so we're going to talk about that. So Paul introduced me to Bob because he said there's a guy that came into my office looking to raise some capital. I think that was the thing. And he needed to get some sales going. That's how. And so if we tell Paul, from the accounting perspective, I'm going to pass the mic to you. You do accounting. Why do you have to have a website that makes sense and all that branding stuff? How has that impacted your brand, having websites and all those branding things in place?
Well, when I met you, like most CPAs, I thought my clients only come from referrals, but we get 500 leads in a 2-month period every month just off of Google. And so this is my face. We have 17 offices across 4 states. We have in every state, but this is our face, like what you were saying, it's visual, and it also us to say why we're different. That about us from there is spectacular, and it just it's an industry that is changing. We're modifying it. We're going to we offer our services in a subscription model to where it's all inclusive, and it's just been awesome.
Will determine the level of success.
So success in business is not what you know how to do, it's actually doing it. And so the thing that I would tell you is stop it. Get a freak like this guy and let him go after it. Insane. Because then you can be doing what you do well and take that time and invest in something else on top of that as contacts. And I don't get anything for selling his, just telling you what he's done for us so that we could focus. And then he'll come in and I'll say, I think I've got it all. And he listens for 5 minutes and he makes one, and I want to slap myself in the face. Well, why didn't I think about that? That's idiotic. But they're sick freaks. They just get it done.
I don't know. I think it's because it's merit-based pay in our office. So if the people here, like, they get paid. So if we were taking on your account and someone else to do this, but if you hired a different marketing company, I'm just giving you best practices. You want to make sure that they win when you win. So like in our office, if we grow Dave Asey's podcast, that benefits our company to the extent it benefits them, but we actually benefit if they benefit. Does that make sense to you?
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
So on today's show, I'm going to just hammer testimonials. So you can see people that heard about the conference through a podcast or through a friend or whatever, and they had a business that was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It wasn't thriving. It was just surviving, right? It was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't growing. It was just stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't thriving, it was surviving. And they heard about the podcast, they heard about the conference, they heard about the success stories, and they came to the conference. That's step one. They came to the conference. And by the way, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com, you can name your price for all the workshops I do. We want to make it affordable for everybody. So they came out to the in-person 2-day workshop. They went to Thrivetime Show. They requested a ticket. We called them, got them their ticket. Then, James, we interviewed them after the conference, and we said, how was it?
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The goal setting, well, it's not like it's somewhat basic stuff. Making sure we have different goals for every part of your life is super important. Also, the linear workflow. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. Like literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
And they said, oh my gosh, I learned so much about business. I learned about the workflows and the marketing and the search engine optimization and the branding and the hiring and the checklists and all this, the bookkeeping, the search engine optimization, the online advertising, the social media. I learned it all. Woo! Yes, I learned it. However, it's acts, not words. Acta non verba. So James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this stuff, but they don't apply it, what happens?
Nothing happens.
But there is a certain group of people, not our listeners, who run around acquiring information and they don't apply it.
Those are the worst types.
So this is what happens is Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author, he says that knowledge without application is meaningless. Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Knowledge without application is meaningless. So, James, if somebody comes to a conference and they learn all this and they don't apply it, that doesn't matter, because the idea is acta non verba, acts not words. So if people come to this conference, you're going to see testimonies of people who came to the conference and they say, wow, I had no idea that this was possible. And then you're going to see people, I'm going to show you testimonials of people that applied what we taught them. People that have grown their accounting practice. Now, by the way, in accounting practice, this is not someone who has invented the concept of accounting. There's other accounting. This just in. There are other accountants.
My business, it consists, I'm a CPA and a financial advisor, and we're very successful. I wanted to go from successful to systematic. I wanted to learn systems and processes so that the business can run without me.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But this person, they came to the conference, they learned about how to scale their company. I taught them how to create a subscription model for their accounting as opposed to doing the traditional accounting model. And they've grown the company from $3 million to over $20 million. Wow. Then you're going to see a testimonial, a success story of a home builder who grew the home building business from 15 million to over 150 million, a home builder. And by the way, this just did. There are other home builders, but this home builder grew from 15 million to 150 million of sales.
That's life-changing, Clay.
You're going to hear about a dog trainer who came to this event. Now, let me tell you about the dog trainer. He came to this event, and he had a wonderful business that was it was stagnant. It was stuck. It wasn't able to grow. He was a great guy, knew how to train dogs, but he didn't have a no-brainer offer. He didn't have a website that was optimized. He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one-sheet.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
He didn't have branding that made sense. He didn't have a one sheet, didn't have a pricing structure that worked, didn't have a linear workflow, didn't have an office culture environment, didn't have decoration in the office that would make people want to work there, didn't understand the process of hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining great people, didn't have a pro forma, didn't know how to franchise, didn't know how to license. But what we do, James, is we take people in, they come to the conference, they learn this stuff, and they go, could you teach me how to do it? And I say, absolutely. Now, folks, here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small. What? Here's the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. My job is to make big obstacles seem small.
Favorite aspect is probably just how entertaining it is, and the fact that I pick up one or two or three things every time I come to take my business to the next level. Well, if people are missing out on basically a plan, a guaranteed plan, pretty much if you're willing to work it to be successful. Most people, I think everybody should attend one of these workshops at least once, because you don't know what you don't know. And we're not taught to be successful in school.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
A lot of people, they have a fear or a phobia of scaling their business or building the processes. They feel like they don't know what to do, or they need kind of a coach or a mentor to guide them down the path. And so on today's show, you're going to see people that came to a conference, step one. Step two, we taught them how to apply these principles at the conference. Step three, they hired us to help them scale their company. Step four, you're going to hear their success stories. Now, James, money is a magnifier.
We have a little bit of news for you guys. It's now what, May 31st at 6:21. You've been closed for 20 minutes?
Right.
No, it's now June, so let's run the numbers for May. Let's see what he's got.
Totals 102,837.
What's last year to date? 102,837 this year?
And last year was 60,667. Whoa! Coming out of the weeds now.
Boom, baby.
Boom! Out of the weeds, onto the pavement.
I learned at the academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
What does that mean? Because we're going to share with you some stories today of an accountant who grew a business from $3 million to $20+ million, of a home builder who grew a business from $15 million to $150 million, of a dog trainer that was able to scale his business from a stagnant business to 15+ locations, to grow the business that was perpetually stuck at 400,000-ish, grow that into a $1 million+ annual revenue. This year's sales for this week.
So this is the same week last year. Do you see the difference? Look.
What is that? I can't really tell. One is,
look.
Michael, can we just I just want to get it. Jason, can you kind of pull this end maybe? Just so you can see it. Let's kind of pull it that way. Let's get the length. That's more of a, I can't tell the length. It's hard to tell.
Look at that. Okay.
So that's last year's sales.
This is last year's sales. And the total is a mere $4,711.73. Same week this year, 2015. The total is, read it, Michael.
$11,313.50.
Oh, boom! There it is.
What?
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk, kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months, and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
When I say money's a magnifier, James, what does that mean?
It means if you're already a great person, the money will allow you to do greater things. And if you're not a great person, you're going to do things that are you're going to do more of the bad stuff.
Right. Because money's a magnifier. That's what it is.
Right.
So if you're a greedy, I don't want to say a greedy bastard, because that would then infer that you, just because you don't have a father in your life, that means you're greedy. I'm not going to say that. That doesn't make any sense. But if you're somebody who's greedy, the Bible states, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's for the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself. It's not. The money is just a tool, and people that are obsessed with money itself become a tool of the money.
Hi, my name is Josh Spurl from Spurl & Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants based out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I met Clay at his conference in Tulsa in June of 2018. Started working with the coaching program shortly after there. The experience has been great. You really have a partner in the grind. Most people, I like to say most people are wrong about most things about business most of the time. And it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to connect with other entrepreneurs who actually know what they're talking about when it comes to business. But Clay and his team really does understand. The tangible improvements that we've seen is we're up over 50% since starting with the coaching program. And, they're helping to help business owners create time freedom and financial freedom. And I know what you're going to think. You're going to say, what the heck are you going to do with your time freedom and financial freedom when you're in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada? That's the most northerly city in North America with 1 million people. We're probably just sitting in our igloos hoping for some television. But I'll give you an idea of what we're doing in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So over here we have Sandra and we have Emma. Emma, say hello. Emma really likes any video, so let's give it let's see what actually the time freedom and financial freedom can do for you in Edmonton. So believe it or not, we have a beach here, guys, and I'll take you on the little tour of Edmonton's beach. Now it's not what you Americans are going to think of as a beach. This is a northern beach. We've got a really cool slide here. I don't know if you can see this purple slide. This purple slide that you're looking at here is a full loop-to-loop. It knocks you completely upside down when you go into it. Let's see if I can get the right angle here. You know, that does not appear physically possible, but it really is going to knock you upside down. Went on it last time, and here is the Edmonton beach. This is a northern beach. You guys out in Tulsa, you Americans think you have all the beaches here, but here is the northern beach, complete with waves. We got 30-degree weather inside here. Oh, sorry, 30. That's 90 for you guys over there. I gotta do the translation, the map in my head. And we even got a zip line that we can ride down here. And this is what we're doing with our time freedom and financial freedom in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Thanks to the Thrivetime team. Thanks very much, guys.
I learned at the Academy in Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But money's just a tool. Money's like a hammer, money's like a tire, money's like a sock, money's like a car. You could use a car for bad things, you could use a hammer for bad things. A lot of people could, you could kill someone with a hammer. You could kill somebody with a sock, I guess, if you wanted to. You could kill someone with a tire if you wanted to. But I mean, there's a lot of creative thoughts going through people's minds right now. But the thing is that money is just a magnifier. In the 1 Timothy chapter 6:10 reads, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows." And so what happens is that money is a magnifier. And so if you're somebody who's greedy and nefarious and will throw somebody under the bus to make an extra dollar, money's going to allow you to be more of a greedy personality type that will throw somebody under the bus for a dollar. That's what money will allow you to do.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with our listing and our ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut, and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Now, if you're a grateful person, if you're a kind person, and James, that's why we only work with grateful, kind people. That's why when we share these testimonies of wonderful, great, kind of people, it's a blasty blast. So James, that's what's fun about capturing these success stories, is that real people at the peak of their success are explaining to you how they did it. And luckily, James, we're able to actually gather footage of some of these people at the beginning, when they first came to a conference, and then at the peak when they achieved massive success. So James, I am fired up for people to watch this testimonial, but let's make sure I'm being a good teacher here. The two concepts I want to teach you. One, for anybody out there, it's called acta non verba, which in Latin means acts, not words. That's the idea, is acts, not words, okay? That's what it means. And then I want to teach the second concept, which again, money is a magnifier.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
James, in your own words, what does it mean? You say acta non verba, you go, I don't understand what you're saying. You say, well, it's Latin, it means, well, in your mind, what does it mean?
It means you can't just talk about it, you have to be about it.
That's how it works. And somebody says, well, Clay, I can't afford coaching with you guys. Well, good news, we only take on 160 clients, so, we might not be available. But we do have scholarship pricing. Now, this is how I make money. This is the secret sauce that allows me to be the boss. One, I make the big obstacles seem small. And two, a lot of my clients, I get a small percentage of the growth. So, James, why would I be so motivated to help somebody who is struggling and they're stagnant? Why would I want to invest the time for my own? I mean, if you take the altruism out of it, the fact that I grew up poor and I want to help people be successful, why would I want to help somebody to scale a company if I get 2%? We are joined by none other than my brother from another mother, Mr. Josh, the founder of Living Water Irrigation. Mr. Josh, welcome onto the show, my friend. How are you?
I am awesome, Clay. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm excited for the listeners to get to know more about you. Could you share the name of your company, a little bit more about what you guys do at Living Water Irrigation, where the name comes from?
Absolutely, positively. So Living Water Irrigation, the most important part of that to me is John 7:38. So it's mentioned in the gospel a number of times, we're the living water. But our specific scripture that we drew our name from is John 7:38. It says, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow through him. We have a very distinct vision as a company on who we are and what we want to do. And I believe that I was put here to go make some money to give it away.
And I'm not going to ask you for the specific details of your career and how you started the business as far as a linear timeline, but how long has this particular business been around?
We've been around just 2 years, sir.
2 years. And you guys, we first met. How did we first meet?
I came in and y'all started coaching me over the Thrivetime, over Thrive 15.
And do you remember when that was approximately and how you first heard about us?
So it would have been October or November of 17.
October or November of 17.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of your growth as a company, how much have you grown this year?
So this year we're up 450% year over year.
So now that you're implementing this program, you're getting more calls, right? Are you getting more calls?
Absolutely.
Sales are going up. You're gathering reviews from your real customers, adding content to the website, adding a gallery of work.
So I'm going to actually take a minute and make you really uncomfortable, Clay.
Nice.
So when we started with y'all, it was awesome. We had a little company, just me and one dude and one little van.
Yeah.
And 17 was great. I ate more than ramen noodles, but not much more.
Right.
18 was really good. We started to implement the systems, got the boom book, went to a couple conferences, and said, okay, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to sell out. We went to the coaching, got coached by Marshall and Victoria, and started to implement, as opposed to just listen, to actually be doers. It's in James. It says don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers as well. And so we implemented scripts. We implemented systems. We implemented checklist. We implemented a pro forma for quoting and all these things that you talk about.
Yeah.
And so just as a real person, and I'm real, I promise you, there's a bunch of Josh Wilsons out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a famous baseball player and football player.
Oh, wow.
And a gospel singer.
Oh, wow.
But this Josh Wilson just digs ditches for a living. But I just want to say thank you. Standing here for all the systems. I encourage everybody out there, go pick up Start Here. Go pick up the Boom Book. The stuff you hear on this show, it actually sincerely works.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Why would I want to help somebody to scale a company if I get 2%?
Because when they grow, then you win too.
Right. It's a win-win. It's called shalom. Look it up, folks. The shalom, it's a biblical concept, the idea of a win-win. It's not a zero-sum negotiation, okay? If you're out there and you're a decent person, you have a soul, you want to create a shalom relationship, a win-win relationship with your partner. So I make more as my clients make more. That's how that works. It's a win-win kind of thing. So that's the idea. And again, James, people can go to thrivetimeshow.com. They can request a ticket. We let them name their price, and we do these conferences every 2 months. Every 2 months we do a business conference. And you've met these people, James.
I do, and you know what? I've met them when they came in and their business is struggling, and then I've seen how they've transformed after a few months. It's like getting a haircut. You know, when you go in and you look real dirty, and you come out and you look like the top of the world.
Money is a magnifier, and acta non verba, this idea that acts, not words, okay? It's all about action and gaining traction. It's not about just learning new concepts, because knowledge without application is meaningless, to quote the great Napoleon Hill. James, you're a beautiful man. You smell terrific. I can't wait for people to see you at our in-person workshops. Again, folks, get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. They're 2 days. They're interactive. We open up the doors at 7 a.m. We go until about 3 p.m. each day. We do a 30-minute teaching sprint, a 15-minute Q&A session, and then we break, and then we do 30 minutes of training, 15-minute Q&A, and then we break, and then 30 minutes of training, and then 50. So you're going to learn branding, marketing, search engine, all these things. And then, James, we have helicopter rides. We do the helicopter rides from time to time. We have, I think we're roasting a pig at this next. I'm not sure when you're going to hear this podcast, folks, but we're roasting a pig. We're giving away cash prizes. We're giving away. It is a blasty blast, folks. It's like the opposite of business college. It truly is business school without the BS. James, again, you're almost like a benefit we should add to the package. When people go to thrivetimeshow.com, it's like, and you get to meet James. So get those tickets again, folks, at thrivetimeshow.com. James, I really do appreciate you joining me today. And folks, again, get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com.
I'll just leave people with these words. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
Whoa. Good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done this show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man. And there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed, to the business owner, to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.